There is a very particular buzz around Baltimore right now, and it feels different from anything the fanbase has experienced in nearly 2 decades. For the first time in a long stretch, the Ravens are not preparing for a playoff run or shifting focus toward the draft. Instead, all eyes are locked on the sidelines, on the interview rooms, and on what direction this franchise is about to take. A full head coaching search is underway, something this organization has not truly lived through in a generation. And that alone makes this moment feel heavy, unpredictable, and full of possibility. What makes this process even more fascinating is the sheer volume of familiar names circling Baltimore. Coaches with strong league-wide reputations, proven systems, and deep playoff experience are stepping into interviews at the Castle. That does not happen by accident around the league. This job is viewed as one of the most attractive openings available, and it is not particularly close. You have a stable front office, a clear organizational identity, and most importantly, elite talent already in place. When people debate other openings, the conversation eventually circles back to Baltimore as the standard. With the previous era essentially closing its chapter, attention naturally shifts to what comes next. There is no sense that the Ravens are rushing this decision, and that is intentional. This franchise has always operated with patience and conviction, and that approach is showing again here. They are still moving through the interview phase, still listening, still evaluating not just schemes, but leadership styles and long-term vision. And within that process, one name keeps generating quiet but growing intrigue. Mike McDaniel's presence in Baltimore raised eyebrows the moment images surfaced of him passing through the city. Shortly after, the confirmation came that his interview had been completed, and suddenly the conversation changed tone. This was no longer just about head coaching possibilities. Reports began to circulate suggesting that McDaniel might value the right situation over simply landing a head coaching title, even if that meant stepping into a premier offensive coordinator role rather than a shaky head coaching opportunity elsewhere. That detail matters a lot, because when you look around the league, there may not be a better offensive coordinator opening than the one Baltimore currently offers. If McDaniel truly prioritizes stability, infrastructure, and elite talent, then this situation checks every box. The Ravens are not a rebuilding project. They are not searching for an identity. They are searching for refinement, creativity, and a system that fully unlocks what they already have. McDaniel is still very much viewed as a legitimate head coaching candidate. Teams continue to express interest, and his offensive reputation remains strong. But there is a growing sense that patience could be his greatest asset. 1 year in the right environment with the right quarterback could completely reshape how he is viewed across the league. A single dominant season can change everything in this profession, especially when it is paired with a roster built to win now. That is why Baltimore feels different. If the Ravens ultimately decide to hire a defensive-minded head coach, McDaniel immediately becomes one of the most compelling offensive coordinator options imaginable. His creativity, motion-heavy concepts, and ability to stress defenses horizontally would pair beautifully with the athleticism and instincts already on this roster. The upside is obvious, even without stretching the imagination. The conversation naturally turns to how this would all fit together structurally. In most scenarios, the Ravens' next head coach would likely be the primary play caller on one side of the ball. That means one coordinator role would lean more toward implementation than innovation. If an offensive head coach is hired, the offensive coordinator would not be calling plays. If a defensive leader takes over, the same limitation applies on defense. That dynamic makes the idea of a defensive head coach paired with McDaniel especially intriguing. A pairing like Robert Saleh with Mike McDaniel sparks immediate curiosity. The familiarity from their time in San Francisco, the balance between defensive intensity and offensive ingenuity, and the clear division of responsibilities all point toward stability. Saleh brings leadership, presence, and a defensive system that consistently overperforms. McDaniel brings imagination, tempo, and the ability to maximize skilled players in space. Together, even for a short window, that combination could be explosive. One concern that always follows elite coordinators is longevity. If McDaniel steps into Baltimore and the offense takes off, the rest of the league will notice immediately. Coordinators with success rarely stay put for long. That is the price of excellence. But even a single season of cohesion, growth, and offensive dominance could elevate this team to another level and set the foundation for whoever follows. The appeal for McDaniel goes beyond play design. Baltimore offers something many franchises cannot: clarity. The quarterback position is not a mystery here. The locker room leadership is established. The culture is not broken for an offensive mind looking to reassert his value after mixed results elsewhere. This is the cleanest possible stage. Context matters. And few environments provide it as clearly as Baltimore does right now. Criticism from previous stops tends to ignore circumstances. Offensive systems do not exist in a vacuum, and success often begins under center. Quarterback instability has derailed far better play callers than McDaniel. That reality is well understood inside league circles, even if it is lost in surface-level narratives. Give a creative offensive coach a dynamic quarterback and structure around him, and the evaluation changes quickly. That is why this opening continues to feel special. The Ravens are not just hiring a coach, they are choosing a direction, a tone, and a philosophy that will define the next era. They have elite players on both sides of the ball, financial flexibility approaching, and valuable draft capital waiting to be used. This is not a reset, it is a recalibration. Every interview matters, every connection counts, and every decision will ripple outward for years, whether McDaniel becomes the head coach, the offensive coordinator, or simply a catalyst for new ideas. His involvement highlights just how attractive this opportunity truly is. Around the league, people are paying attention, and the closer this search gets to its final stages, the more it feels like something significant is about to take shape. As the search continues to unfold, another storyline quietly gains momentum in the background, and it carries just as much emotional weight as strategic importance. The departure of John Harbaugh signals the end of an era in Baltimore, one defined by consistency, accountability, and sustained relevance. While change can feel uncomfortable, there is also a sense that this separation arrived at the right moment for everyone involved. For Harbaugh, a new challenge awaits. For the Ravens, a rare opportunity to reshape their future without tearing down what already works. Everything points toward New York as Harbaugh's next destination, and from a football perspective, the fit makes a lot of sense. The Giants have been searching for stability for years, cycling through coaches and systems without finding long-term footing. What Harbaugh brings is not just experience, but credibility. Players respond to him, front offices trust him, media pressure does not rattle him. That alone is valuable for a franchise that has struggled to find its footing in high expectation environments. The Giants' roster is not devoid of talent either. There are young pieces on offense, intriguing athletes on defense, and a division that remains volatile year to year. Harbaugh stepping into that situation feels less like a gamble and more like a reset button. Not an instant championship solution, but a move designed to restore order, professionalism, and identity. That matters more than splashy headlines in the early stages of a rebuild. What makes this transition particularly interesting is how clean it feels. There is no bitterness, no public fallout, no messy power struggle. Baltimore understands what Harbaugh gave to the organization, and Harbaugh understands why the Ravens are ready to move forward. That mutual respect allows both sides to focus on the future instead of relitigating the past. It also allows Baltimore to fully invest its energy into finding the right successor, rather than managing distractions. Back in Baltimore, the appeal of this opening continues to resonate around the league. Coaches see more than just a job. They see a chance to work with elite talent at premium positions, a quarterback who changes how defenses line up, a secondary built on speed and intelligence, a roster that does not require a multi-year teardown to compete. That combination is rare, and it explains why so many respected names are willing to listen closely to what the Ravens have to offer. There is also an organizational patience at play that cannot be overstated. The Ravens are not operating out of desperation. They are not chasing trends blindly or reacting to outside noise. Every step of this process reflects long-term thinking. Interviews are thorough. Philosophies are scrutinized. Fit matters as much as resume. This front office knows that the wrong hire could disrupt what has taken years to build, while the right hire could elevate it almost immediately. That balance becomes even more important when considering the quarterback. Lamar Jackson is not a system player. He is a force multiplier. Whoever steps into this role must understand how to build around him, not constrain him. That does not necessarily mean reinventing the offense, but it does mean evolving it. Creativity, adaptability, and trust will be essential traits for the next coaching staff, regardless of which side of the ball they come from. This is where the coordinated discussion keeps circling back into focus. If the head coach is defensive-minded, the offensive coordinator must be more than a placeholder. He must be someone capable of shaping an identity, managing tempo, and maximizing space. That is why the idea of a high-level offensive mind stepping into that role carries so much weight. One season of cohesion between quarterback and play caller could unlock dimensions of this offense that have only been teased so far. At the same time, defensive leadership remains a cornerstone of Baltimore football. The city expects physicality, discipline, and intelligence on that side of the ball. Any head coach who neglects that identity risks losing the locker room before the scheme ever has a chance to take hold. That is why candidates with defensive roots continue to feel like a natural fit, especially when paired with an offensive counterpart who can carry equal authority. The concern about continuity always lingers. When coordinators succeed, opportunities follow. That reality does not scare Baltimore. It never has. The Ravens have long trusted their ability to develop coaches, replace departing voices, and maintain structural integrity. What matters most is setting the foundation correctly. Once that is in place, adjustments become manageable rather than disruptive. There is also an underlying sense that this moment represents more than just a coaching hire. It is a philosophical checkpoint. The league is changing, offenses are faster, spacing is wider, and versatility is no longer optional. Baltimore does not need to abandon its roots to adapt, but it does need leadership that understands where the game is headed. The next head coach must bridge tradition and innovation without alienating either. As Harbaugh prepares for his next chapter and Baltimore inches closer to its decision, the league watches closely. This is not a vacancy that comes around often. It is a rare alignment of readiness, resources, and relevance. The Ravens have the luxury of choosing, not settling. And as each interview concludes and each report surfaces, the sense grows that whatever comes next will shape the trajectory of this franchise for years, not just seasons. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. Whispers are stirring in the NFL world as Haason Reddick's name keeps surfacing in connection with the Baltimore Ravens' defensive overhaul. Sources close to the team hint that the dynamic pass rusher could be on the verge of joining the Ravens, a move that would send shockwaves through the AFC. Reddick, known for his explosive first step and uncanny ability to collapse the pocket, has long been a player capable of changing the trajectory of a defense. And Baltimore's front seven may finally be ready to harness that potential. The Ravens' defensive line has struggled at times to generate consistent pressure, leaving quarterback pockets too comfortable and testing the team's secondary. Enter Reddick, a player with a reputation for versatility, able to line up across multiple positions and keep offensive coordinators guessing. Rumors suggest that the team's coaching staff has been enamored with his combination of speed and power, seeing him as a piece capable of transforming their defensive identity overnight. Insiders speculate that the discussions have been fluid, with both sides exploring the perfect alignment of scheme fit and contract details, fueling further speculation that a signing could be imminent. Fans and analysts alike are already imagining the possibilities. Reddick lining up opposite a dominant interior presence could create matchup nightmares, not just for quarterbacks, but for offensive lines across the league. Some league observers have gone so far as to call him a game changer, pointing to his track record of disruptive plays and knack for forcing turnovers at critical moments. The buzz around the Ravens locker room reportedly mirrors that of a team on the brink of a strategic leap, suggesting that the coaching staff sees Reddick not merely as an addition, but as a cornerstone for a defensive renaissance. While no official announcement has been made, the chatter has ignited a wave of speculation on social media, with fans dissecting every snippet of insider information and debating how Reddick could fit into Baltimore's complex defensive schemes. One thing seems certain: should the move materialize, the Ravens' defensive front will instantly become one of the most feared units in the league, and Haason Reddick would be at the heart of it, poised to deliver impact from the very first snap. Until then, the NFL rumor mill is running full throttle, leaving supporters eagerly anticipating what could be a pivotal chapter in the Ravens' ongoing quest for dominance. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.